Hey guys, all right. So we were having a pretty casual morning. Actually, I was impressed that we only had about a 100-point range on NQ and about 25 points on ES. We got some data if you missed it. Well, I guess it really wasn't data, it was news, more or less, from Microsoft that says it lowered its AI software sales quota, or its goal, essentially. So that's why we just had that huge red candle at 9 o'clock there. So kind of sets up an interesting move on the daily. We were, especially in NQ, set up for a breakout. We were testing that key 25,672 again. And over on ES, we were looking to push through yesterday's resistance of that, or I guess this whole week's resistance of 68.65. However, that we got some ADP news at 8:15, which kind of sent us down a little bit. And then we got this Microsoft news, which really sent us down. So now we're at an interesting spot here where, again, is this going to end up like Monday, where we get a big bounce and a big wick to the bottom off of the 8 EMA support area, or is this finally going to be that rejection and downside move here? So interesting to see just kind of where today goes. You know, market's been buying the dip pretty aggressively, so that obviously gives us a little bit of thought to, look at the longs versus the shorts here, but we'll see what opening hour brings. It's been very volatile lately. We've had a lot of misdirection, a lot of wicks, a lot of ups and downs. So again, I'm going to be a little patient. I'm going to try to wait it out until maybe after 10 o'clock to find a play. If something looks good, I'll take it. But there's been a lot of failed continuation, which is certainly harder to trade, kind of when they fake the move one way or another and it doesn't play out smoothly. So we'll see what we bring here. Right now, we pretty much are saying that 68.18 and 25.433 is our support, and we did have range resistance at 68.62 and 25.678. I would give us up to about 68.38 and 25.558. That's the 15-minute 5 EMA resistance, and also there's some demands there. I would look for that for a potential touch and potential rejection lower. VX and VIX did get a big pop on the last candle too, so that is also what I'm watching. The last couple days, really couple weeks now, that big downside push on VIX is really what's driving this price action higher. We do have buyers, but that is primarily what is driving us. So again, I am certainly watching that and seeing if that is going to continue to play out or not. So keeping an eye on that for sure. But we'll just kind of see what we get here. I'd like to see if we can put a new demand in on this 15-minute candle double bottom right here before we head into opening time frame here. So I'm kind of watching these double bottoms right here. Again, I'm going to try to zoom out not too far so you guys can actually see it. When we have a huge, almost 200-point candle, it's hard to get it all in one chart here. Let's see here. But again, looking for a move up into the EMA resistance here, and then potentially a rejection back down. We'll see again what market gives us here. We got about 30 seconds to open here. Trying to take it again slow today. I just got my Tradeify funded that I'm trading. Looking for about like $600 there roughly. This is day 3 of 5, so looking to make that happen, and then hopefully take these to pay out on Friday. Definitely been a rough couple days. Really rough last week too. Last week was rough just because of the short trading week, short volume, or small volume rather. So we did not get a new demand or support there. So this does open up the potential for that rejection. That 25.505 and 68.31 right now is resistance to watch. So this does open up that there's going to be a 5-minute rejection lower back to test the 68.18 and 25.343 area. Again, patience today, waiting, looking for A+ setups, nice and easy, nice and smooth. We do have sellers here, so again, downside favor. VX and VIX are holding higher. They're not getting sold off, so again, downside favor there. We did get the back test off point of control and rejected, but again, opening candle, opening 30 minutes here. You know, I would recommend being patient as they could take this either way here. I would say as long as this 5-minute candle closes under 68.31 and 25.505, likely we will push down on the next candle. If we close over that, then there's definitely a higher possibility of pushing higher here and a much larger recovery. I would, again, just be patient for at least this 5-minute candle close. There's certainly too high of risk to be in anything right now. There are no buyers, so that obviously makes it difficult to trust the upside. But VX and VIX are starting to push down a little bit here, so that is going to shift the favor up a little bit here. And you can kind of see too, down in this area, there is just so much support and demand that we're coming into here that generally it makes it much more difficult to get that continuation. The last couple of days have really established this as a big support area. So obviously we got to be careful there and make sure that we're not shorting into too big of support. But the biggest difference today is that this is the first day in probably, I'd say 2 weeks at least, that the VIX is actually uptrending right now. Now, it's going to try to break that uptrend, it looks like, but it's the only time that we have actually started the day off with VIX over its EMAs and had sellers. So there's definitely a change in the momentum right now. And this market really, for the last, I would say, at least 3 days, but last week or so, has been wanting to go lower, and it's just been getting the dip aggressively bought. So there certainly is that potential that we are going to see finally a little bit of a retrace, or at least a more significant retrace. Maybe down to the 20 EMA support on the daily. I do think the 50 EMA is well within reach, too, of being tested. Okay, so we got 2 seconds till close. There's that rejection off 68.31 and 25.506 that I was talking about. It starts to open up a short opportunity for me here. We got to be careful that we're not going to pop right back up like we're doing right here. They have been doing that a lot lately on these 5-minute candles, that as soon as they open, it's an instant pop. So again, watching that, being patient. At this point, 5-minute ORB support is 68.23 and 25.458. So that's kind of the next level to close under. I do think this is going to get pushed lower, and I am eyeing a short here. As I say that, though, of course, VX is starting to push down a little bit more than I'd like to see. I still like this rejection here off at 505. ES is looking a little stronger than NQ for sure. But again, it's still setting up the rejection here lower. I certainly do not see a long opportunity here. Now, if we close over 505 and 68.32 here, I might start thinking there's a long opportunity. You know, we might push up to maybe the 20 EMA resistance on the 15-minute chart, but I do generally expect this to get rejected here. Again, no buyers either, so again, favor is down. And you can kind of see over here on the 15-minute chart, we're setting up this test and potential double top here. Let me see if I can make this wider for you. Double top here, rejection lower. This is pushing through a little bit more, so that's a little bit more concerning. But again, we're setting up a potential double top off the EMA to shoot lower, which would be a bear flag. So that would be a nice short opportunity if it can hold kind of how we need it to here.
Order submitted. Order failed.
All right, I went ahead and took the short. It looks pretty good here. I like that we're rejecting and holding steady. I do expect by the end of this 5-minute candle, they're going to sell us down. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. I like that I'm showing the 15-minute double top. Sellers are holding strong. VX and VIX are at a good bounce spot. I might get stopped out here. I wish my stop loss was just over the 5-minute high. But this is a pretty good entry here, so I'm content with taking it here. One thing I've been struggling with the last couple days and really like week or two is waiting too late to take the play. So like this situation here, you know, we have the previous double top. I'm looking at my Ninja chart. Oh, let's see. There you go. My Ninja chart here. So we have the double top with the long wick. So we got our back test off of the key resistance area. And then I'm looking for that test lower. I don't want to get stopped out. We took 5 points. That's okay. I think that's going to play out, but anyways, so we have the double top, we have the back test, and now you're going to look for the move lower. So what I've been getting stuck with is that I'm taking the short about here, and then I'm getting the move back up and getting stopped out. So that's why I like to get in up there. That was a good entry. We just got stopped up by our trail, which is okay. But because there's this odds that this is going to bounce, boom, right back up, and then go lower, it's just a little tough. But overall, I'll take a couple points there. Not a big deal. Unfortunately, that just would have hit my 40-point target right now. But, again, playing conservative, playing it as it lies here. So, anyway, I think we're going to get a bounce here. As you can see, we did not close under 5-minute ORB support, though. So, again, it does have, once again, that 5-minute bounce spot. And they could take this right back to 505 first. And this is what I was saying. So you would think this confirmation, again, looking at Ninja chart real quick, that this 5-minute confirmation of rejecting and going red here would just bring continuation lower. But what it's doing is bringing this back test that I just talked about, and that's wiping me out before then making the move. So it's been a little more difficult lately to get a good A+ entry because of just extra volatility and getting wicked out on a move exactly like this before it plays out exactly how we think it's going to play out. The 15-minute double top rejection looks great. I don't like the short into ORB support at 25,459, so I'm holding here. We're going right back up to 505. So that's our rejection spot right here again on the chart. So if you look over, see where are we at here, 5-minute chart, 505 right here, that's our rejection spot, and you can see there's our ORB resistance at 538 too. I do think again we're going to reject, but they might make us wait for the next 15-minute candle to do it.
Order filled.
All right, I went ahead and took the short here. Again, kind of same thing. I'm looking for that big downside rejection. We had our wick. I wish my stop loss was up here. Looking at Ninja, I wish my stop loss was up here. I was wanting to get in here, but too slow. Anyways, so again, we had our move down, our back test, and now looking for some continuation lower. We'll see if we get it or not. But I do like the short once again. It'd be nice to see this close under 25,457. That would certainly be confirmation of further downside coming. I would like to be out of this play before the next candle opens in a minute. However, I know likely I'm not going to be able to be out of it, which is okay. I think I'll let it ride. But again, these 5-minute candles have pretty much opened and instantly kind of moved up. So we're going to hold our break even here. Hopefully we'll just keep pushing lower.
Stop filled.
Unfortunately, once again, just no continuation. It's very, very difficult to get that continuation. And yes, I probably could have just closed out for 20 points there, but again, you know, when it looks solid, there's not really a good reason to close it early. So I was okay holding that. Just once again, it's just there's no solid movement. It's just straight all over the place here. So looking at the 15-minute time frame, if we touch 505 again, likely we're going to reject again. And on the 15-minute time frame over here, you can see if we reject here, that should play the bear flag out lower. So that's kind of what I'm watching for right here. Over on ES also, you can see the same play. They have the touch and then likely rejection lower.
Order filled.
All right, I'm back in once again. ES is playing out a nice rejection here. If you look over, they're rejecting, double topping, should push lower. ES has been holding us up, so ES going down should bring NQ lower. So as you see, double top right here, double top off EMA should push us lower. And then over here at NQ, same thing. As long as we don't try to go touch the top of the ORB first, we should push back down to this kind of 25, 433 area. Still got sellers. There's 0 buyers. We have a rejection off of EMA resistance. VX and VIX are trying to also bounce off their support. So this is pretty A+. The only thing that would make this even A++ is if we would have closed under 25,458, that 5-minute ORB support. That would have certainly been a stronger downside confirmation. But I do think maybe this 5-minute candle is going to give us that close. Really looking for this close under 458 here. See if we can get it. Okay, break even set. I'm going to be bold here and put my break even back up here because I think we're going to get the continuation lower this time, and I don't want to get stopped out for 5 points again. $30 seconds to close here. Again, looking for that under 458 close. Should do it. Okay, now I'll go 5-ish points here. Gonna be a little bold. Okay, so I took about 20 points there. We did not get the closure under ORB support here, so that was why I immediately put my stop loss above that candle, because the odds were that we were going to excuse me, bounce. And I didn't want to get a bounce all the way back up to 505 that took out our profit. So I'm up about 500 bucks right now. I ideally do need a little bit more profit just because of consistency and to make the next 2 days a little bit easier on me. So let's see if we can find about another 20 points of profit or not. Again, I still like downside. I still think we're going to get a big flush here.
Order
So let's
filled.
get in and out. Let's get in on it. This is kind of what I was talking about though with these entries. They're just been tough. There we go. We got stopped out. So same thing. You know, you see the move, but then the boom, they pop it right back up first, and it's really difficult to get in on these moves and not get stopped out like instantly sometimes.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm backing in the short. Same thing. Looking for that flush. Looking for that closure under 458 here for confirmation of downside. On the contrary, if this pops up and closes over 510, which is the 15-minute 5 EMA resistance, then we're likely going to see a major, major pop. But I do think, once again, the big flush is coming. Got about a 10-point stop loss on this one. Same thing, hoping to let some of the downside play out here. Testing 458. Big pop on VX and VIX right now. Sellers are there. ES is pushing with us. This should be the flush. Here we go. Here we go. See if it goes. Boom. 40 points hit. All right. I'm out. I'm done. Up about 800 and something bucks in the account. So much, much better morning. Well played. She had us for a couple minutes there with some chop, but you know what? That was a good morning. That was some good execution. Happy to have that play out that way. So I will be back on, I hope, Friday. But I'll see you guys later.